Well, a very happy Monday to everybody. It's Monday. It really is. What's even better, it's like 3 days until I leave. So I'm looking forward to I shouldn't be, but I am. I'm looking forward to the leave. Thursday morning, very, very early, I will be up and out. So I have a lot of recording to do this week to make sure that you guys get at least one video every day. Quite frankly, there's a lot of content, so it's very possible you get at least two videos every day. But we're going to start off with this one today. And I like to start Mondays off with a very Sam post, or at least a very Gentleman of Outlander post. So that's what we're doing here. First off, we are going to warn, though, everybody about yet another reminder of Sam scams that are shams. Because I like saying that. I was going to say it says Sam plus sham equals scam. So maybe that's what's on the thumbnail. We'll see what happens. Outlander series Book and TV shares Aaron Fraser's post. It says, because there was already a warning on the page, piggybacking on the admin post about Outlander cast social media. This information is super important and shouldn't get lost in a comment section, so I wanted to post it separately to make it easy to find and get more attention. The most obvious way to determine if it's a fake, fan-made scam account or real account is that blue verified check mark next to their names. It's used on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I don't use any other social media platform, so I can't speak to how those are verified. Yeah, pretty much everybody, there's a check mark to make sure that you are talking to who you're talking to. Since I'm using Sam Heughan's social media as an example, I'll share other things I look for beyond those things. While he does have a verified account on Facebook, he hasn't actively used it since 2020. That is something to remember, folks. If you think you're talking to Sam on Facebook, that is one place you absolutely are not. He doesn't use that one actively anymore. He is almost always posting on Instagram. And yeah, I occasionally it is him actually posting, but quite often it's somebody managing his social media who's taking the pictures, taking the videos, even writing up the text. So Sam is not like doing a lot of posting and he's not sliding into people's DMs, all right? Continuing this, most of his activity on Facebook is through his brands, Sassenach Spirits and My Peak Challenge, both verified as well. He has posted videos alongside his manager or social media team manager. I'm not sure what the role that person plays in his professional life. We know him as Steve. That his only active personal social media are Instagram and TikTok. The most recent of these was maybe 6 months ago or so. Beyond that blue check mark. All right, so other hints to pay attention to beyond the check mark itself. Let's look at these. Look for who follows them, particularly with the cast of Outlander. They all follow and interact with each other regularly in the comment section, and they all have verified accounts. I read those off to you every now and then. It'll be like the first or second comment after a post he's made. It's John Bell or Katrina or Sophie. So you look at who's following. If they're following each other, that's another hint that it's probably really them, along with that blue check mark, okay? Not just one or the other. It's got to have both. Look for how new, relevant their content, photos, videos, posts, etc. is to what you already know they are doing. If there's a lot of recycled content that doesn't match current projects, it's a fake account. So if you think you're talking to Sam and he keeps posting his pool shoot or one of his magazine shoots or him walking in New York 2 years ago, it's not him. He has more recent stuff that he posts for the clout, for the views, for his profession. It's how they get the word out. Look at follower accounts, both how many followers the actor has and how many the actor follows. That's another good big clue. Sam Heughan's going to have lots of followers, probably names we would recognize as people who we follow each other a little bit here and there. So, or at least for me, I use a lot of the same names. So if I see Batgirl, Fangirl, the Outlander Diaries, my mind is blanking, but Point Blank 1959, that's another one. If I see them following it, I feel like that lets me know that is probably the right person to be following because they know what they're doing. I feel like occasionally I know what I'm doing. So look out for those familiar names. Look at the bio under their names. It almost always mentions current projects or something they're associated with that can be verified in a quick Google search. For instance, if Sam has the RSC and Macbeth in there, that's a hint. But again, that one's a little bit of a light hint because anybody can copy those links. This is one of those, if it's got all of these things, then you're probably okay. This would be one of those things. Look at the photos they are tagged in and who tagged them, the network or production company of a current project, castmates, etc. It's another one of those. You're looking for those familiar names. And finally, verified celebrity accounts will never reach out to fans in the comments asking to private message or anything else. This is true. So if you see that or receive private messages from them, they are scammers. Delete them, ignore them, and most importantly, block those accounts. So yeah, as much, again, I've said this before, you are a wonderful person. I am a wonderful person. You are beautiful, talented, have many fine skills, have a fantastic personality. I'm all right. As much as that is true, Sam is not reaching out to you or me or anybody because he just has to thank us for our awesomeness. He does that in a group way by sending out pictures, by being involved in activities and sharing them with us, by being excited to share with us his, new distillery or new charity work. That is how he thanks us and how he lets us be involved in his life. As much as we would love to have him slide into our DMs and, hey, baby, yes, he's not doing that, even though we are fantastic. I mean, I'm lovely, truly. No, but seriously, I just want everybody to be safe. It sounds like that's what they want here. They've got some good examples down below and a final message. So let's do that real quick here. Take a look at these. Sam Heughan, blue check mark. Sam Heughan, little blue check mark. That lets us know who's who, who's possible. Well, oh, here, it does have his blue check mark up here. See, got to double check these things. And we look at the number of posts, the number of followers, the number of people he's following. Again, let's look over here, following 22. That makes a lot of sense because I don't see Sam Heughan sitting there scrolling and looking at stuff. Followers, 1.2 million. That's not enough. Following 2 followers, a bazillion. And again, the little blue check mark. So you got to look at some of these hints here that let you know if it would be him, if it wouldn't be. And here's another good one too. If you look at the expansion here, it's got his vodka, and then he's got other things going on, including his distillery. So, or just Galloway, I'm sorry, not the distillery, but Macbeth. So, I mean, he's got different projects currently working on. These are good hints. The posts that he's sharing, I've seen these before. This is definitely Instagram. The posts that he's sharing, these are his pinned ones. I have to scroll by these every time I'm looking for new ones. But you can see if it's posting stuff that's recent or not. This one is the Facebook one right here. That's been forever. But again, not very active. Now, this final paragraph here says, I'm sure there are quite a few more ways to verify the legitimacy of a celebrity account, but these are the ones I start with. If you know of other ways to identify if the account is legit, feel free to add those in the comments below. So, I mean, they're actively trying to help each other because that's what we do in this community. I love it. I love it. And these are examples of absolutely these are Sam's accounts. But again, as she said before, not that active on Facebook, not expecting a lot going on, so following 22 people. He's got his followers, and they got the blue check mark, but not active here. He's not talking to anybody personally there. Instagram, he's pretty active. He truly is. And we see him doing lots of activities in his stories and in his separate, I forget what these are called, but they're themed to different things. These are the pictures and stuff he shared in the past. And then TikTok, which I don't do, but TikTok, we got the same thing, verified check mark. Way more people following than he's following on TikTok. And again, more recent photos, more recent stuff that he's done. These are kind of older, quite frankly. But again, check mark verification. Whether he's active or not. You can see again who is following him, who he's following. That stuff really does give you clues as to whether it's legit or not. But start with that blue check mark. Moving along, because I am doing a Sam and our mams, And our awesome bed of Outlander, I'm a little stuffy today. Point Blank 1959 shares this one. It throws me off seeing him hold a cigarette or anything. I know every now and then he would smoke a cigar, but that throws me off too. Reposting these from When the Starlight Ends 2016 to highlight Sam's brilliant acting, the sheer cut contrast between his conflicting images, a self-centered braggart hipster in his imagination fiction, beardless Jacob versus his real self, a withdrawn, shy, often morose writer with a beard. Yeah, this still kind of throws me out. It was a good story though. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, the smoking at least it's not lit there. It just throws me off there. See, throws me off to see him with Sarah. He's such a health nut, and I mean, I vape. Don't get me wrong, but it baffles me. That's not who he is. That is just the best worst picture of Sam. I like geeks. Don't get me wrong, but the hair is all frazzled. It looks like his beard's a little unkempt. And I'm not really sure if this tie goes with his shirt. That's a little more rugged, outdoorsy, dude. Yeah. So some pictures to kind of look at the contraction between the two, the contradiction between the two. I knew there was a word. All right, this one he's got a really little cigar. I've smoked cigars bigger than that, Sam. 20 Point Blank 1959 says 2023 was a good year for Sam. The launch of The Couple Next Door and Outlander season 7. They actually got the stars on the Walk of Fame at the Austin Film Festival in 2024 at the European premiere for the series. For those who still wonder, the rubber ducks are a symbol of Belgium. Oh, and this series was endorsed by a company called Happy Duck Films. Sam Heughan's Instagram, Don Lucas, D. Andrews. Okay, there's a. You know what? Ducks are also important for Jeeps. I have rubber duckies in my Jeep. If you see me and you're like, dude, I want to give Katie something simple, but I don't know what she'd want, give me a little rubber ducky for my Jeep, themed. I've got a Las Vegas one. I've got one for Buc-ee's, which is this huge gas station. Ooh, look, yeah, Eleanor Thomason, Sam Hugh. It's got a star. That's so very cool. But yeah, rubber duckies. It's a thing. It's a thing. All right, I like this one. The RSC. I always want to say them wrong, and I'm sure I do half the time. Some spooky Macbeth facts for Halloween. How many did you already know? Macbeth is playing the other place until the 6th of December. Okay, you know what? For some reason, I had the 9th of December stuck in my head. Thank you for the clarification. I'll always take that. 5 facts you might not know about Macbeth. The Weird Sisters are never referred to as witches by characters in the play. They are only called witches in the stage directions. Okay. Rhinoceros appears just once in all of Shakespeare's plays, and it's in Act 3, Scene 4 of Macbeth. You know what? I wouldn't expect rhinoceroi to be prevalent throughout Shakespearean plays. I wouldn't. They were probably not well known, like one of those newly discovered things, and you don't see a lot of rhinoceroses, I don't even know, roaming through the streets of England, the Isle of Scott. None of that happens too often. I just don't feel like it happens too often. All right, our next little known fact is that Shakespeare's character Macbeth is based on a real king. I actually did know that one before I read this. Macbeth Mac Findlach, and no, that's awfully pronounced, but that's why you can see it. A king of Scotland in the 11th century. I did know that he was based on a real king for the reason that I studied Shakespeare a little bit in elementary, a little bit in middle, and a little bit in high school. For some reason, we were all prepared to study it, so when we got to college, we'd be prepared. Didn't study a lick of it in college. So I'm really glad I got to study it when I did, because I like Shakespeare. It's good stuff. He based all of his plays on reality. He was the Star Trek of his time, nailing true real-time issues in an entertaining way. So, I like that. That's good. And saying Macbeth aloud in a theater is believed to cause bad luck. Oh, I actually knew that one too. No, I didn't know that one. because I worked a little bit in the theater in high school. According to folklore, a cover of witches objected to Shakespeare using real spells in the play, so they put a curse on it. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that part of it. I didn't know that part of it. So that is interesting. That is interesting. Got to watch out for those witches, man. I'll tell you what. Ooh, that's pretty. This embroidered velvet cloak was worn by Constance Benson as Lady Macbeth in 1902, the production of Macbeth, making it one of the oldest costumes in the RSC collection. That is beautiful. I wish we could get a close up of it. That's pretty impressively cool. Moving along, because I'm trying to give you, hot dudes themed, if not Sam. And this is one of my favorite hot dudes who will be at the gathering, but I don't have any moments set aside where I'm going to be talking to him, so I'll just have to enjoy him from afar. Love and Art by Vera Agzer's post. Good night, ladies. Do you recognize this handsome man holding one of my designs? It was designed especially for this grand event. I want to congratulate Outlander, North Carolina for another successful fundraiser to support charities. It's so wonderful to work together, even though we're thousands of miles apart. I always feel like a part of me is there. I hope there will always be more people like you thinking of others. We're pretty good with our charities. Oh, that reminds me, I have a thing. A huge thank you to Charles for these photos. They made me so happy. Thank you so much, Beth, always for thinking of me. And this is at Fans Staccatos. See you there. But we got Charles, and somebody made this portrait of William for him. That is really cool. I mean, that is really cool, the picture itself, but he's there going, check this out, it's good stuff, and you give it a thumbs up, and that's what you want. Plus, I like the color of his kilt. Moving along to our good-looking fellows, Graham McTavish shares this one. It is a happy Halloween wish, and rather than read this one to you, we'll just play it out loud. How about that? I think that's a good plan.
Happy Halloween to all of you. I hope you're having a marvelous time. Wherever you are, or if you've already had that marvelous time. I did it first when I was 8, when I lived in Canada. I'd never done it before. We didn't do it where I grew up. But the history of it, especially in the land of the Gaels, the Celts, is very interesting. Samhain, as it was known, or is known, October the 31st, was the most important date, really, in the Gaelic calendar. It marked the start of the Celtic New Year. But it also marked the beginning of winter, really. And winter, because winter's very long in Scotland, winter presaged death. Death, hardship, privation, shortage of food, all the usual things. The old 4 horsemen of the apocalypse were all lining up at Samhain to visit the Scots. And so they devised a way of protecting themselves, but they believed very strongly that at this time of the year, the line, the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest, and so that the dead, the ghouls, so to speak, would be able to cross over into the land of the living, and to protect themselves from that, they would build huge bonfires, they would make sacrifices, but they would also dress up. They would dress up in costumes to confuse the spirits that came to visit them. And among those people that would dress up were children. And children, it was called guising, still is called guising, actually, in Scotland, as in disguise. And they would go around dressed in costumes to confuse the spirits. But sometimes the children would knock on people's doors and pretend to be these spirits. And people would give them gifts to appease them, so that the spirits would leave them alone. And there you have the origins, possibly, of trick or treat. They were all about the tricks to get the treats. Happy Halloween.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I actually knew a good portion of that between watching entirely too much television, where they like to include Halloween folklore and Samhain folklore, and watching documentaries, because I'm a nerd and I like to learn stuff. I actually knew a good portion of this. I like the idea that trick-or-treating came from an actual, kids actually being kind of snarky, where they would dress up and, appease the evil spirits, And so the people at the house would either give them a small treat or they'd be irritated by small children who were disappointed, which is kind of how things are today. But no, I think my favorite reference to it in television for no good reason was on a supernatural episode where they call us Sam Hain because we're American and we can't pronounce things in Gaelic properly. But the boys are being threatened by a demon, and so they cover their faces in, I'm not going to say in what so I don't get in trouble, but they cover their faces in a red substance that is supposed to have hidden them. So they use the real-time folklore to get past this bad guy. And I thought that was fun. That was clever way to kind of include a little bit of what's actually going on and why we celebrate the way we do. Even though it's just been, evolutionized. It's the evolution of Halloween has happened. Samhain, I love Samhain, but I love Halloween. It's like I said, my anniversary is all over now. My husband has a whole year to think of what to get me other than a card. Anyway, moving on. Graham also shared some more of his pictures of himself as different characters. He says, behind the scenes, part 2, a mustachio me on a horseback in India in Sharp, showing off my basketball skills in Red Dawn, a Red Dwarf. Well, that's a different look for him. All right, Red Dwarf, wearing a fetching leather ensemble in Merlin, the magic begins. Oh, he looks rather handsome like that. I don't think I like the other one where he's shaved and beardless. But he looks rather dashing with that eye down kind of. All right. I enjoy this. Merlin the Magic begins. In the Thai jungle, armed to the teeth in Rambo. Really? You said Rambo? And of course, with the delightful Dominic Cooper in Preacher. Okay. All right. I think you got these mixed up. I'm really upset that I can't share that with my dad, because he loved Rambo, and I think he would get a kick out of knowing that Graham was in both. Oh, okay. The tears get you at the weirdest times, I will tell you. That is very cool and fascinating, so thank you, Graham. And not to be left out, and yet still not even in the picture, is Duncan Lacroix. So Duncan shares this. If you're feeling bad, you just look at the cats. You'll feel better because they know that everything is just as it is. Charles Bukowski. And Point Blank says something wrong with his eyes, though. He got that matter. We get sleep in our eyes. Cats and dogs do the same thing. I don't know if that's an illness for cats. Our cat very rarely gets that stuff, but my poor puppy bear, it gets really icky, poor guy. And so we play a lot of, we're going to wet this really good for you, buddy. And then mommy uses her little fingernails and we get him pulled out little by little. Doesn't hurt him. He sits very, very well while I do that. But yeah, that's a shame. Poor kitty. Good poor kitty. And that's all the trouble I'm going to cause for this video. Don't forget that we do have our Outlander chat tonight for season 2, episode 2. And I'm not going to get into what happens. I think we all kind of know, but we're going to have a little talk about some of our favorite things they did right, things they did wrong, favorite moments with the actors as they acclimate themselves to France. One of my favorite characters gets introduced, I think, this episode as well. So check that out. I want to say a hearty hello to my new subscribers. It's very nice to see y'all coming, and I hope that you'll come back for more because we do have that chat tonight. But don't forget, there is no movie review this week because I want to see if I can get more than 5 hours of sleep before I drive 9 to 10 hours on Thursday. I feel like it's smart to do that. That's my plan anyway. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If not, big old thumbs down. Don't forget to comment either way down below. Subscribe if you find yourself coming here often. And don't forget to hit that notification bell if you want to find out when the next videos do come out. Huge thanks to all of my supporters, all of my members here. Thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow, we will be giving away some more memberships. So join us then for tomorrow at noon for our live chat. Also, big thanks to my car folks, my poor husband. My poor husband is, for those of you who helped support me getting my vehicle and getting it tidied up. I'm like thinking I have this wish list on Amazon of things that if I buy one or two things every month or so and put it down. I was thinking if anybody had still wanted to help, please email me. I'm not going to post it up here, and I'll share the link with you. Some of the stuff's like $10, $20, $30. I think one of the most expensive is 50. Everything else I know in my head that I want is too damn expensive right now. At any rate, I wanted to thank those of you who are in my car helpful group. And my husband was doing his Cricut thing and printing out my sponsored in part by, and then all of your list of names. And he realized that he didn't set the Cricut cutting depth quite right, and it didn't go well. So he's redoing that again. I'm hoping it'll be on the vehicle before I leave for the gathering, because I would be really excited to be able to have that all set. All right, folks, go enjoy the rest of your Monday. There will be more videos to come this week, including tonight, maybe even another one today. I'm still recording stuff and separating it, so we'll see what happens. But either way, do have a great Monday. If you didn't get enough Outlander information, and you want to check out when those new videos do come out, do check those playlists below. It'll be on our Waiting for Season 8 playlist here. And then, of course, there's a couple next door, Outlander reviews, movie reviews. Go check those out. And, of course, no matter which video you do choose, I'll see you there.